India after independence. India after independence. We were discussing regarding as when India partition on a 14th August 1947, the total 562 princess states, they became independent. 562 states, princess states, they declared independent by the Britishers. So afterwards, those number of refugees which came to India after the partition of a country, their rehabilitation was a first requirement, how to rehabilitate them. Properly rehabilitation of a refugees in India. Second, as the problem of a food, how to feed the population of our country. At that time, 35 crores of a total population existing in India. 35 crores of the population, how to feed it, and the third as a reorganization of Indian states. So these three problems faced by the independent India after the partition. After the partition, after the declaration of Indian independence on 1947. So the first work as initiated by the government of India just after independence as the framing of the Constitution of India. To frame as the Constitution of India. Framing the Constitution of India for this work as the Constituent Assembly. It was framed in 1946, sorry. In 1946, during the British age, dignitaries of a Congress members, they constitute as the Constituent Assembly. That assembly, it was headed by the Dr. Rajendra Prasad, which later in state became as the first president of India, and its chairmanship handled by the Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, which is known in his Indian history as the father of the Indian Constitution. So the draft of a constitution, it was as a ready and approved by the Parliament of India till the 26th of November 1949, which finally as enforced over Indians, Constitution of India enforced on Indians on 26 January 1950. The Constitution of India, it was given as a freedom to their citizens to cast their vote, which earlier not provided to Indians. During as a British age, some number of constituencies were there, provinces were there, where the elections were held during the British age, in between of a Muslim League and the Indian National Congress, but not in all over the country. At that time, right to vote only given to the males, neither to the females. Clear? But after the independence of our country, when the Constitution of India enforced, India adopted the universal adult franchise. As according to this, as a universal adult franchise in 1950, all those adults above the age of 21 years, either as a males or a females, they can cast their vote for the election of their selected representatives. For the selection of their representatives, for which as a earlier age limit for the right to vote, it was set as 21 years, which later in stage decreased till the 18 years. Now in a present society, all those adults above the age of 18 years, they can cast their vote for the selection of their selective representatives. So after the independence, now in a present in time, when the Constitution of India, framed by the framers of a constitution of India, they try to make such kind of a constitution which will make as a justice with the different sections of a society. As we learned, as India is a land of the diversities. Different number of linguistic groups, religious groups, social, cultural groups, they are residing as a collectively. So constitution, it should be followed as a such beliefs, such ideals through which as a justice can happen with the everybody. Justice, it can be do with the all the different number of communities. In our country, Hindus are in majority. Except the Hindus, others are in minorities, including the Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Jains, Buddhists, they are comprising in a minority groups. But still, as a, in Constitution of India, that section which has in a majority as a Hindus not make as a differences with the others, for which as a constitution followed the idea of a equality. Equality followed in a Constitution of India on such beliefs the equal opportunity is given, and its first important work was a universal adult franchise, the right to vote, which was equally given to the every individual. And as per the Constitution of India, and their different articles which favored as idea of equality. The Constitution of India, it guaranteed the equality before the law to all the individuals, all the citizens of a country. Irrespective of the any caste, race, religion, or a gender, there will be no discrimination will takes place with any of a community, either as a religious, linguistic, cultural, or a socio-economic conditions of people. Clear? So under the independent India, there were as a Parsi communities, those areas which earlier as administered by the Portuguese, when they left the Goa, Parsi communities areas, their beliefs were procured by the provision of a special reservation given to them in a assembly seats. So Constitution of India, it was based upon a certain features which depicts that the importance of a Constitution of India in India. Constitution in Indian context as a first Constitution of India followed the idea of fundamental rights and duties. Constitution of India given as a fundamental rights, those rights which are necessary for the social well-being of an individual. Any person which is taking, any of an individual which takes as a birth in India, it is applicable to use the such group of the rights which are necessary for the social well-being. So at the time of enactment of the Constitution, there were the 7 fundamental rights were there: right to educate, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to the religious and the cultural freedoms, right against the right to the constitutional remedies, and one more was the right to property. That right to property, it is as now as excluded from the list of the fundamental rights. Now there are the 6 fundamental rights are there. 6 fundamental rights which protected as the equality, which guaranteed the equality to the all the individuals. So with the rights, there are some responsibilities. Duties are also given in a constitution. Such duties, to follow such duties and obey them is a responsibility of every Indian, which includes as a respect to the national signs, emblem in country, national anthem. Don't waste as a public property, protection of a public property, public national signs within as a country. These are the responsibilities of every person, every Indian within as a territorial boundaries of a country. Within the territorial boundaries of country. The second, Indian Constitution followed the idea of a federalism. It followed the idea of federalism. Federalism is that type of the structure in which the 2 or more than 2 levels of the governments are there. 2 or more than 2 levels of government. Federal structure indicates as a 2 levels of the governments are there, central level and the state level of the governments. But in our country, there are the local self-governments are there. Local self-governments which are function in a rural areas in a form of a panchayats, in urban areas in a form of a municipal corporations and municipal councils. Municipal corporations and municipal councils. So in our country, there is a quasi-federal types of a structure is there, which gives us the different responsibilities to the state governments, central government, and the local self-governments. Clear? Local self-governments. Third important feature of a Constitution of India is it is the written in form. So any thing which is written in form, it can't be as a change as a usually. So those things which are written in form, these are the proofs of our past, which can be as a followed in present also. Present also. The verbal edicts, it can be as a change by the individuals, but not as a written. The Constitution of India is a written in form. It has followed by the everybody as a strictly, which has given as a separate pass to the everybody. Separate pass to the everybody. No, Japji, there are 3 levels of the governments are there. Central level, central government is there. Modi government is a central government. Afterwards, the state governments are there. Each and every state having their own governments. Third level of the government is the local self-governments. Rural areas having the panchayats. This is a local self-government. In urban areas, cities, they are having the municipal corporations and municipal councils. Jalandhar, like as a city, its population is more than 10 lakhs. It's having the municipal corporation. Jalandhar having the municipal corporation. And those cities which are having the total population less than 10 lakhs, they are having the municipal councils, like Nakodar, like Adampur. They are having the councils, neither as a corporation. But those metropolitan cities, which are the larger in number, its population, their population is more than 1 crore. They are having the both the houses. Bicameral legislatures are there. Bicameral legislatures means in such a number of the cities, there are the municipal corporations as well as the councils are there for the proper administration in such number of cities. Same as those states which are having as a total population less than the 4 crores. 4 crores, they are having as a legislative assemblies. Legislative assemblies. States which are having as a total population less than the 1 crore, they are having as a which are having as a less than the 4 crores, they are having as a legislative assemblies. Those states, its population is more than the 4 crores is there. They are having as a 2 types of the legislatures are there. Bicameral legislatures, legislative assemblies and legislative councils. Legislative councils. Vidhan Sabha, legislative assembly. Vidhan Parishad, legislative councils. Like as a Uttar Pradesh, their population, size of the population is more. They are having as a 2 types of the legislatures. Legislative assembly and legislative councils. Clear? So state governments, central government and local self-government. 3 levels of the governments are there, not as a 4. Clear? Next, feature of Indian Constitution as the separation of the powers. Constitution of India separate the powers among the various authorities, various agencies. For example, there are 3 organs of the governments are there. 3 organs of government. There are the powers are as the legislatures, executives and the judiciary. Judiciary. Separation of powers. Separation of powers. Powers are divided among the various organs. Various organs like legislative, executive, judiciary. These are the law-making agencies. Law-making agencies. Legislatives, executives, and judiciary. In previous chapters, you learned about them. Judiciary. Legislatures, they are responsible for the formation of a law, making of a law. Resolution has introduced in assemblies, legislative assemblies, afterwards as a Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. So these are the law-making agencies. Legislative, executives execute a law, implements a law, implements a law in society. And third, as a judiciary, which is checks that a law is suitable for a society or not. Means if the people are not following as a law, means there are some kind of the modifications required. Modification required for a law. That's why the people are not following it. People are not obeying. Under such circumstances, judiciary having the power, it can return a law to the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha for reconsideration. Reconsideration. So these 3 are the organs of government. These 3 are the organs of government. Next are the levels of government. There are 3 levels of government are there. National level, central government, in which the two important political parties, they are playing as a role in a central government. One is NDA group, which is now as a presently going on, National Democratic Alliance. Its leading party is a BJP. Second is a UPA government, United Progressive Alliance. Its leading party is the Congress, Indian National Congress. Clear? So national government, central level, national government. Next is the state governments are there. Each and every state having their own self-governments. State governments, for example, as the former Congress government which administered the Punjab state earlier by the Amrinder Singh, and afterwards 2 months for the Charanjit Singh Channi as the chief minister of the Punjab. And third, local governments. As we discussed, the local self-governments are framed in villages in a form of the panchayats, gram panchayats, gram samitis, gram panchayat, gram panchayat or a gram sabha. These are the members of the elected representatives of a village. And there are the samitis are there, which are the assemblies of elders of a village. Elders of village. So in cities, there are the municipal corporations are there and municipal councils are there. In smaller cities, towns, there are the municipal councils. Adampur, Philor is lies under the administrative boundaries of administrative divisions of Jalandhar, Nakodar. These are the having their municipal councils, neither as a corporations. Clear? Local self-governments. Next, separation of the power as the political parties. Different number of the political parties are also present in our country. Some are the nationalized, some are the regional. Nationalized and regional. Those parties which contest in elections from all the states are the nationalized parties. For example, BJP. BJP contests in elections from almost all the states of a country. All the states of country. BSP is a nationalized party. Congress is a nationalized party. Clear? Till the time Aam Aadmi Party is not as a nationalized party. Why? Because earlier it took as a part in a Delhi only, Delhi, Punjab only, limited areas. But now as extending their boundaries, regional parties, those group of parties which contest in elections from particular states. Samajwadi Party of Uttar Pradesh. Samajwadi Party, its head now as Akhilesh Yadav in Uttar Pradesh, in Punjab as a Shiromani Akali Dal. Akali Dal as constitutes under the regional party, which contests in elections from a particular states, one particular locality or an area, region, state. These are known as regional parties. So through these different number of the powers divided among the various agencies, the powers are decentralized, not as a centralized towards a one authority. Different authorities responsible for the administration in a country. Administration in country. So why do we as a need to decentralize the powers among the various levels? Because Prime Minister not know about what are the problems which are prevailing in different parts of a country. Same as the Chief Minister. Chief Minister or their cabinet ministers, they can't know, they can't understand about what kind of problems are prevailing in different parts of a state, for which as the local self-governments are there. Local self-governments for the proper administration in a country. Local self-governments are function for the proper administration in country. So till there any questions? Till there any questions? Constitution of India, their features, which includes as a federal structure, federal form of the constitution, universal adult franchise, fundamental rights and fundamental duties. It's a written in form, separation of the power, separation of powers. Next is the secularism. Any questions? Secular ideals. The Constitution of India having the quality of a secular beliefs, secular ideas. So it is favorable for all the different sections of society. Different sections of society. On behalf of the secular idea, our country is not as any of a religion getting as a position of a nationalized religion. all the religions are considered as equivalent. In that country where the majority of the Hindus are there, more than the 60% of the population constitutes by the Hindus. In that country where the large other number of the communities are there, Muslim, Christian, Jainis, Buddhists are there, but still as the equality has followed. Secular beliefs, secular ideals are followed in our country, through which all the different religious communities are considered as equivalent. They are considered as equal within as a territorial boundaries of a country. Clear? So these are the features of a Constitution of India, which enacted by the Parliament of India on the 26th of November 1949 and enforced finally in 26 January 1950. After the enforcement of the Constitution of India in 1950, 26 January 1950. Yes, can anybody tell me that why do as a 26 January decided to Declaration of an Indian Republic? Declaration of Indian Republic. Why do as the interim government, the government which was framed after the partition of a country, the independence of India, decided to declare the Republic of India on 26th of January? The reason behind this incident at the pass of Indian history in 1931, the Pune Pact was signed, in which the Nehru raised the voice of a Swaraj, complete independence, Purna Swaraj or a complete independence. The date decided for the declaration of Indian independence was 26th of January 1931. So on occasion of that, the 26th January decided as a declaration the enforcement of an Indian Constitution. Enforcement of Indian Constitution on Indians. That's why on 26th of January 1950, India declared as a republic state. India declared as the republic. In our constitution, there are a different number of the matters are there. Such matters are the responsibilities of the various authorities. These are marked under the three lists of the subjects: union list, state list, and concurrent list. Union list, state list, and concurrent list. Union list, state list, and concurrent list. Concurrent list. Union list constitutes the matters which are managed by the central government. These are marked under the 7th schedule of a constitution. 7th schedule of constitution. Union list constitutes as a 97 subjects. Union list constitutes as the 97 subjects. 97 subjects. Those subjects which are managed, which are handled by the central government. For example, collection of taxes, defense, foreign affairs. These are the responsibilities of a central government. Clear? Total number of the subjects marked under the union list are the 97. Next is the state list. State list, those matters which are managed by the state governments. State governments, they are now as a presently total number of 66. 66 subjects are marked under the state list. 66 subjects. So such matters which are handled by managed by the state governments, like as a health, education. Health, education are constitutes under the state list. Third list as a concurrent list. Concurrent list, which includes as a 47 subjects. 47 subjects associated with the collectively by state governments and the central government. State government and central government. For example, forest, agriculture, wildlife resource are collectively handled and managed by the state governments and the central government. Forest, agriculture, what will be as a MSP, what will be as a MSP, minimum support price, that price which is set by the central government 1 year prior than the production. On behalf of the MSP farmers, they can produce as a crop. Means the prices of the grains, these are the equivalent in all the states, which are set by the central government. Central government set the prices of the grains, which are followed in all the different number of states. Same as the policies related with the conservation of a wildlife and a forest resource. These are equally applicable and implemented throughout the country. Clear? So till there, any questions? Any questions? Yes. And now next topic as the how are states to be the form after the reorganization of a states, when the states were included under the Indian dominance as a maximum number of states included under Indian dominance. Now the question arises how to divide them. If they divided them on the basis of the territories, means the same problem exists after the partition of a country, after the independence of country. Before of the independence, most number of princely states, they fought with each other for extension of their territories. So framers of a constitution, they were not decided. They were not taking as a decision again as a division of a country on a empires. Then later in state, they tried to think about a religion also on behalf of a religion to divide a country. But on a religion, it means that those areas which will be used for the Hindus, it should be as inhabited by the Hindu population only. But it can't be as a possible with the India where the multi-religious people, multilingual people living as a collectively. Then framers of a constitution, they decided to divide the country on a linguistic basis. Thank you, Japji. On linguistic behalf, the country divided after the partition, after the independence of India, our country was divided among the linguistic basis, the languages basis. In this process, as the first 14 languages were registered under the Constitution of India, on such behalf, the 14 states came into existence. Existing the current parts of Haryana, Himachal Pradesh and Punjab, they were collectively known as a Punjab. Till as the 1966. In 1966, Punjab partitioned again. Punjab divided into 3 states, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana and Punjab. 1st November 1966, Punjab came into existence. Again, as a states divided into the linguistic basis, Punjabi speaking areas, these were separated from the non-Punjabi areas. That's why as a Himachal Pradesh and Haryana finally as a came into existence on 1st November of 1966. Clear? So linguistic ideals were used for framing of a constitution, framing of a states of India. Till 2001, the 25 states were there. In 2001, the 3 new states were framed in India. These states were the Uttarakhand separated from Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh from Madhya Pradesh and Jharkhand from Bihar. And later in stage in 2014, the newer state Telangana separated from the Andhra Pradesh. That Andhra Pradesh, which was earlier the territories of a Hyderabad province ruled by the Nizams of the Hyderabad, that state, Andhra Pradesh, it separated from the territories of the Maharashtra, the Marathi speaking areas, due to as a efforts of a Potti Sri Ramalu, he struggled for the formation of the Andhra Pradesh. Clear? So this much for today. Rest we will continue in our next class. Any questions? Thank you.